I just turned 25, and to help me determine what I want for the next 10 years of my life, I asked a few people who I admire to write letters to their younger selves to learn from them. This is how that went. Hey guys, and welcome to A Letter to My Younger Self, a podcast that encourages you to work hard, have good intentions, and most importantly, to trust the process. Now, being in primary school, I feel like is one of those really important stages in life. It's when we're evolving from being a really young child to a more independent being. Our guest today is Miss Safia Abdi. Safia will share with us about her childhood, overcoming childhood traumas, and also learning to lean on your support systems. Welcome, Safia.
Thank you, Wabosha.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much.
You've kept time. I think you're the first guest who has kept time this much.
And I thought I was even a bit late.
And you've kept time.
Thank you.
So for the guys at home who might not know, Safia and I went to high school together. Yeah, she was a year ahead of me. So I joined when I was in Form 1, you were in Form 2.
Form 2,
yeah, this was in Makini. The last time I saw you was...
Makini.
Oh, not Makini, Moi Girls. Sorry.
Yeah. Girls, Nairobi.
Yeah, so the last time I saw you was 20...
I think 2011.
2011?
2010.
2010. Oh my God, it's 10 years later.
Imagine.
Wow. I don't know why I thought it was... I feel old. I feel old actually. A few years ago, yeah. And actually, we weren't that close, but I knew you from Husna.
Yeah.
That's when I came to know you a lot, and also St. John.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I always remember, like from seeing you, is that I used to see you and I used to be like, wow, this girl, she's so small, so pretty, but then she exudes so much strength.
Really?
You know, I used to feel like, wow, you know, you even without saying anything, like when you walked into a room, I used to be like, wow, you know, she yeah, she was like a strong woman. And I think from reading your letter now, I can understand why.
Yeah.
So to keep the rest of the people in the loop, you can go ahead and read your letter to us.
Okay. So, you know, I didn't think I'd read it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay. So, dear 8-year-old Safia, your life is about to change. You're going to go through something very traumatizing. Don't be afraid. It will come to pass. Many kids your age are out there playing and discovering themselves. You'll be scared and shy most of the time. You will question who you are and why you're not like others. You will feel lost and afraid to ask for help if you ever need any. Boys will freak you out and you'll try and stay away from them. You will feel like you're lacking something, but don't be scared. You'll find yourself and you'll see boys aren't that scary. You'll become more of an introvert, afraid to stand out. At first, you'll blame your loving mother for allowing something very traumatizing to happen to you. As you grow older, you'll understand the circumstances that forced her hand. You will be best of friends. You'll be scared to tell people because you're afraid of being talked about. You'll only tell a very few people in your life. You'll make friends with the most unexpected individuals, and even after coming out, you'll be very supportive. They will be very supportive. Your romantic relationships will be based on fear of what the person would think if they ever found out that you're not complete. You'll be very afraid to explore and learn your own body. With time, you'll realize that the right person will love you the way you are. By the time I'm writing this letter to you, you'll be running your own companies and still have side hustles. You will be you will have ambitions and you will work to achieve them every day. You'll be able to have a conversation with your mom. You'll ask her why she allowed something cruel to happen to you, and also for her to tell you her story. She has no memory of her FGM experience. I guess with age, some things can be forgotten. To them, that was normal, so it wasn't a life-changing moment for her. However, she'll be very apologetic of what happened to her daughters because she was a savior at that time. She would rescue many girls from early marriages and FGM. So having her daughters go through it and she couldn't stop it would haunt her every day. She was a high school principal at the time in Isiolo Girls High School. Many parents trusted her with their children, so she was respected in the community, and she was loved and adored by many. My grandma would always ask her, when would you get the girls' cut? And she kept postponing and coming up with excuses until this one time when she couldn't lie anymore, and they forced their way and made sure your day came. My mom was not happy, and she was not present during the process. Moral of this story, please don't blame her. She did all she could, and she loves you no matter what. You'll be very grateful for the opportunity to come out and speak on something that was always heavy on your shoulder. Your family will be very supportive, and even when you feel like they're not, you'll be very afraid once your story is out, and you will even ask for the video to be taken down. God will give you the strength to talk to your mom, and your fear will end. Be thankful for your family for walking through with you in this journey. You'll have very supportive people by your side. They will be there every time you want to give up, and Effie will give you a platform when you didn't have any to share your story, and he'll give you endless encouragement. He'll be very patient with you and will always be a pillar, so never forget that. Stay strong, stay humble, stay confident, because you're going to do amazing things. Be yourself and never doubt your strength. You will fail very many times, but you'll always be able to dust yourself up and be great. You have an amazing future ahead. Live life to the fullest.
Wow. To start with, I have to ask, how did it feel when you were writing that letter to 8-year-old Safia?
I was a bit emotional
Mm-hmm.
because I remember that 8-year-old. Yeah.
What about it was making it emotional?
Because I was so naive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was so naive. I was so innocent. And it shaped a lot about me.
Mm-hmm.
So from there, a lot of things changed for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And why did you pick specifically Safia at 8, not 9, not 7?
Because that's the time I went through the most traumatizing thing, I guess. Before that, I was a fun kid. I'd do all these things kids do.
Yeah.
But after, the FGM process,
Mm-hmm.
I just couldn't. I felt like I couldn't fit in
Mm-hmm.
a lot of, in a lot of ways.
Before we continue, I'd like to say a big, big thank you for all the support that you have shown myself and this podcast so far. If you'd like to support this podcast even more, you can do so by purchasing one of your favorite A Letter to My Younger Self merch. We have journals, and these journals have quotes as well as thought-provoking questions that will be able to guide you in your own personal journey. We also have mugs that look like this. We also have bags, webcam covers, and a lot more. What I will do is I will leave a link down below in the description box where you can go and check this out for yourselves. Now back to the podcast. So at 8 years old is when you went through the FGM, right?
Yeah.
And for our viewers or listeners back at home who might not know what FGM is, could you briefly explain what FGM is and who undergoes it and why?
Yeah, so FGM is female genital mutilation.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, it's when a woman or a girl goes through, your genitals are cut off.
Mm-hmm.
So there are different levels, there are different types that I've spoken about before.
Mm-hmm.
So for me personally, I went through the partial one. So it wasn't as bad as other people's,
Mm-hmm.
but it's still, painful, and it's a very crazy experience. So who goes through it? It's very tough. It's like it's a circumcision basically.
Yeah.
So it's people, you're told you're moving into womanhood.
So like a rite of passage.
Yeah, it's a rite of passage, and mostly in Kenya, most communities that do it, the Kushite community, the pastoralists, especially like the Maasais.
Mm-hmm.
I hear Kurias do it. I hear even Kambas Wakamba.
Wow.
Yeah, they used to do it. So many communities do it.
Mm-hmm.
And It's like a rite of passage, and that's about it. And I don't know why they
They
think it's a
choose.
rite of passage, but yeah.
So, like you said, you went through the partial one. What exactly determines, like
The
which
levels.
cut you get? Yeah.
So it's different for every community. So for like the Somali community, they would do the type 3, which is infibulation. The infibulation means they cut off everything and they sew you together.
What?
Yeah, so they leave a tiny hole the size of a rice grain, so that that's where your period will be coming from. So basically that's it. So it depends with which community.
Yeah.
And plus with time, people stop doing the infibulation. I think they go easy on you because some people get complications even during birth. Imagine when you're married, so you're told you're preserving your virginity.
What?
Or the reason why they do it, they say, is to reduce the woman's urge to have sex. So basically when you're young, you won't have that urge.
Yeah.
That's what they think.
Describe to me the environment which you grew up, Let's start with maybe how many you guys are in the family. Yeah.
So we are 3 kids. So I've been raised by a single mom, but when I was born, my mom was still together with my dad, but they divorced when I was 2 years old. So I have a big sister, firstborn, and my brother is the secondborn. I'm the lastborn. Yeah. So we grew up a good family, good background. I can't say we struggled much. By the time I was being born, my mom was already a teacher, a high school headmistress in Isiolo Girls. So I grew up inside the school.
So you grew up in Isiolo, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. And when it comes to the FGM, is it something that you see how like kungolewa meno? When you're young, you see other kids, unafika unangolewa mapengo, so you know that it'll come a time when it's my turn.
Yeah.
So for you, did you know?
Okay, I never thought it would come to me because by the time I was that age, I knew it was wrong. Because people had already started talking about it and it was all over. And my mom herself was rescuing girls because she was a high school student. When she realizes one student is missing, she'd go and find out, where is this kid? Why isn't she in school? So she'd come find out, they did this to her. Maybe she's even over bleeding. She's been going through complications, and she'd find a way to take them to hospital at that time. So I knew it was wrong, and I thought, it would never happen to me. Yeah, because my mom already knows it's wrong.
So when your mom would go and rescue the children, take them to hospital, how did the community react to that?
For the community, they were like, it's helping the girl.
Yeah.
But you can't tell them to stop the practice. It was very hard for her to be like, this is a very bad thing, because now they wouldn't trust her anymore. So your kids, they'll stop bringing the girls to school. So that as easy as that. So my mom had to choose
where to step in. So it was better, instead of doing nothing, at least after, if something was going wrong, she takes them to hospital and does everything. Let me take you back a bit to like 8-year-old Safia, when it came to around the time before your FGM date. How was it? Did you think anything was coming? Did you know?
No, they don't tell you. Yeah. So I was just living my life like a young kid.
Normally.
Playing, So by the time it was happening, we weren't living in the school. We had moved out and we were living in our home. So it was just a random day, by then nobody tells you. Because my mom had been postponing. Actually, for me, people go through it even at 5 years old, 6. I made it to 8.
8, yeah. And take me through the day, like that specific day, from when you woke up, how exactly it happened.
So that day was actually different. You could tell there's something coming, but I didn't know what. At first I was like, maybe they're preparing me for something nice. Maybe we're moving or we're traveling. That's what I thought.
You can catch all the other episodes by visiting the website listed in the description bar. There, you will find my conversations with my other guests. Each guest shares a letter to their younger self, why those moments were impactful in their lives, the lessons they learned, and the vision they have for their future self. Click the link in the description bar to support this podcast and watch season 1 of A Letter to My Younger Self.